Sean,
Pablo,
what are you doing?
moving things around.
Uh, well, we're recording.
All right.
How you doing?
I am well. How about yourself, sir?
I am all right. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Sean. I've known this guy for God knows I don't even know how many years now.
Who's this guy?
Just this crazy upcoming comedian. Um, let's see. The next Joe Rogan. Upcomer.
Oh
He's st-
God, you just
I'm,
lost half of the people. Everybody hates him for some reason.
I think you just need to do it in you're kind of going in the reverse order because he was a actor? No, he was a comedian first, then actor, then podcaster, right?
I don't know, but I'm willing to bet that he started off as a comedian. I think.
But yeah, nothing really special about me. Living in North
Sean,
Carolina,
you're a very special person.
living in North Carolina, with a buddy here living in New York. Hopefully one day, we'll make it up there. So we'll see.
Yeah, because you just. Well, hold on. Where were you born?
Jamaica.
Also, forgive me for my
Oh,
voice. I lost my voice like Thursday, I think. Thursday or Friday.
Jesus. I feel like I've been losing mine and recovering since coming back from New York.
Yeah, that was a long week. Turns out, if you do enough Molly for 3 people
Oh
in
my
one
God.
night, it's a pain in the dick.
I feel like you and Ben did more than I did. But
Yeah.
we'll discuss that later.
Nah, yeah. But, so wait, so you were born in Jamaica?
Yeah, yeah. Born there. I felt like I've told this story so many times, but obviously for the podcast viewers.
Tell me
Um,
everything.
born there, moved to North Carolina, Chapel Hill, summer of '93. Pretty much grew up in the Chapel Hill Tar Heel community, being a big Tar Heels fan, being surrounded by, you know, all the Tar Heel. I don't know what they would be considered Tar Heelians.
Wait, you're not NC State?
No,
You suck.
I was always taught to be a fan of UNC and to hate Duke, which even to this day I despise Duke.
Yeah, I grew up hating Duke, but then once I went to Charlotte, and then UNC beat Charlotte in the soccer championship.
Hmm.
UNC Chapel Hill cheated. They cheated, and they know it, and they have no integrity. So
Oh my
I now
God,
hate UNC Chapel Hill.
Jesus! Wow.
So you gotta stop rooting for them.
I can say nowadays I'm not that big of a. I don't like when I was younger. I was big into sports. Football, basketball. That was my thing. And as I just got older, I watch it now, but more of like an entertainment thing, not as like a diehard fan or anything like that. So I don't. I know some of like my old classmates and friends from like high school or whatever, and they're still big Tar Heel fans and everything like that. But like, yeah, I'm not in that category anymore. I observe from a distance, if that makes any sense.
That's funny because that's how I feel. Like the older I get, the less I follow things.
Mm-hmm.
But I still do and enjoy. Like I've been watching the finals. I've been
Yeah.
watching the playoffs, and
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy me a good fashioned, good old fashioned sports. Because you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, that's usually the main like things that I watch. I'll watch, obviously the Final Four, not the Final Four, but like the March Madness and everything like that, and then like I'll watch, the NBA Finals and obviously the Super Bowl. But like I'm not big into like baseball. Baseball puts me to sleep. Um, and hockey, not so big of a fan. And like the only like when it comes to like soccer, would be just like the World Cup.
Yeah, I think everybody becomes a soccer fan for the World Cup.
The fake soccer fans just emerge out of nowhere.
I mean, it's just such a cool spectacle. Like,
That is true.
and it's only once every 4 years. I mean,
That is
you gotta
true.
enjoy it.
And I think they're kind of like diverting here, but I think they're coming back to, or they will be coming to LA. Not LA. I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking about the Olympics, my bad. Not the World Cup. I'm thinking about the Olympics. They're coming back to like supposed to be hosted in LA in the next couple of years.
Yeah, the Olympics are gonna be in LA, and then the World Cup in about shit, I don't know, 8 years, maybe 8 or 12 years. They're gonna come to North America.
Okay.
So there's gonna be games in Mexico, U.S., and Canada.
Oh wow.
And I think the game plan for the Raleigh group is that we're gonna go to a game in Mexico City.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go to a game somewhere in Canada, probably like Toronto or Vancouver or something.
Okay.
And then we'll try and make it to like a New York or Atlanta game
Yeah.
when they come here.
Yeah. That'd be pretty dope.
I don't think they gave Charlotte a game, which is kind of horseshit.
But yeah, that's. I mean, I'll be looking forward to that. I think I'll try to slow down. Um, depending on how far apart they're gonna be happening. Um, I don't know if there's like weeks. I'm assuming it's like what, maybe a couple of weeks between
Yeah, I think
each.
from like the very beginning to the end, yeah, it's like a month and a half. I don't know. That's a good question.
We'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I do want to get my. I'm all over the place right now because like talking about where I'm from, growing up, blah blah blah, and then talking about sports. But not going into. I want to get my passport renewed just for that, just to be able to like go travel back out of the states again or whatever.
Do you have a
Because that was like,
Jamaican passport?
yeah, I still have it. I still have my Jamaican passport. And then after I got my citizenship, I got my U.S. passport, which expired in like 2011. That shows you how long it's been since I've traveled outside of the country. And I kind of, like I said, I want to kind of get it renewed. I mean, I think it was like when I got my license renewed and getting the whole little star thing or whatever, the real license or not real license, the real license or real ID or whatever. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, contemplating. Let me see, see about getting my passport renewed because I actually do want to like travel back overseas again, go to Europe again, and just experience it again. Because that was our plan, like last year, to go to try to go to Tokyo during the Olympics. Then the disease happened.
The disease. Dude, go get your passport. It's
I
super
know,
easy. Barely an
Shut
inconvenience.
up. I know. Yeah. I just haven't found like a definitive reason for me to get it, like whatever. But I will. I will. I'd expect I'll be getting it sometime next year
Yeah, just why wait? Just go get it now, so that way you don't have to
because I feel
have
like
the headache.
if I get it now, because I feel like I'm not gonna like go anywhere, like use it, and it's
But what if you do?
but then it would be something that I would have planned for. Like
See,
I don't have
if
any.
you get it now, then you'll be well prepared
Uh,
for anything that might come up.
uh,
Because what if all of a sudden we're like, oh shit, Sean, get ready. We're gonna go to, I don't know, Canada or something. Well, maybe not Canada. I think they're still, for the most part, locked down. They're not letting too many people go into Canada.
well, they're re-locking down a lot of places. Well, not really. I don't say lockdown, but they're like throwing out the whole mandate with the masks again. I guess because of the rise of the new outbreak,
Oh, that
the
Delta
rise.
variant.
Yeah.
That shit
Because
just needs to go away.
it's mainly just it's not affecting too many people that have gotten the vaccine. It's more or less people that haven't. There are like small cases of people that are vaccinated that are contracting the Delta variant, but it's more on the side of the individuals that haven't been vaccinated.
Yeah, Robbie was texting us the other day, and he was like, "Dude, fuck everyone who hasn't gotten a vaccine because his hospital's starting to get
Is it
a
picking back up
little
again?
a little spike in patients."
Uh, yeah, it it blows my mind that yeah. I mean, I held out for the longest, because, like I said, I was like, I'm not going anywhere to put myself in any sort of harm. I mean, I go to the grocery store and go out or whatever, But I'm safe about it. I have my precautions. Wipes and wear my mask and everything. But like since I've been planning this trip to New York, I was like, all right, I'm about to go to fucking Ground Zero, Raccoon City. And I
Dare
was
you
like,
call us
so
Raccoon City?
I was like, all right, I need to just get it just in case. And yeah, about a
Well,
month out, just yeah, finally got it.
was there a particular reason other than you not exposing yourself too much that you didn't want to get the vaccine?
No, not really. It was more or less just like I wasn't. I'm not a big vaccine person. Like um, I've never gotten the flu shot. Um, I've never done what was the other vaccine? I've never like the only vaccines I've ever done was like your traditional vaccine whenever you're going out of the country. That was like the only vaccines I've ever done. Other than that, like I've never done anything else.
I don't know if there's anything else to do. I mean, I guess
I
the flu
remember
shot, but yeah, I don't do a flu shot either.
I remember when I in high school for our senior trip when we went to Europe, they were like, "Yeah, make sure you get all your vaccines," and that was like the only time I actually got like a bunch of vaccines prior to my trip to Europe. Other than that, yeah, nothing.
So Bill Gates has been tracking you for a while since high school.
Apparently, since what 2000 what three?
You're old, Sean.
Let's not talk about it. It's funny. It's funny though, but like it just made me appreciate like everything that I've like seen and witnessed. I guess at my age or whatever, just growing up, and I don't know. I think New York just like opened my eyes a little bit more because like I know there's like obviously there's a bunch of shit out there. Like I've experienced it myself when I was overseas and everything like that. Seeing different how things are run differently. I'm big into like architecture, so that's one of the things I loved about New York. I love some of like, the old school architectural buildings and everything like that. And a part of me was just like trying not to constantly be looking up at buildings to look like a fucking tourist or whatever. Um, but I think just I don't know with my age, I don't know.
Well, one, you're not that old, Sean. We're only like 2 years apart, or maybe somewhere around there.
Whatever. So
Yeah.
with that 2 years apart, then you still need to beat me and be the next person, down that aisle.
I'm allergic to marriage. Uh, no, but I didn't. So when you booked the trip, I didn't realize that you had never been to New York City
Never.
until you
Like,
like got here, and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is my first time." I'm like, "What?"
yeah. That's why I was like, when you had asked me, I was like, where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, it was like, I don't know. And then part of me was like, okay, I don't want to be that person who's like, oh, take me to such and such, take me to da da da. I wanted to experience it from your viewpoint, if that makes sense. I feel like if you're going anywhere, if you're going to any destination, whatever, maybe California, Canada, Europe, Mexico, New York, Vancouver, whatever, anywhere in the world, I feel like you always want to be shown the side of the people that live there because I feel like you see more and enjoy more that way than going to like all the tourist spots. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like and I was talking to Ben about this, and it was like I feel like you kind of live a little bit through that person. So me going up there and just having you take me wherever kind of made me feel like I was living, through you instead of like the traditional going to, oh, let's go to this, touristy spot. Let's go to this other touristy spot. That to me, that's not experiencing, you know, the city or the country or whatever.
Not. I mean, you make a really good point because I remember when I went to Tokyo, I purposely knocked out all the touristy shit in the first like 2 3 days because I couldn't really drink too much because I was there for a marathon.
Yeah.
So I would do all the touristy stuff, end the night, with a beer at a bar or somewhere, just kind of chill.
Yeah.
And then after the marathon, it was like, hey, you can do whatever the fuck you want now, right?
Yeah.
So I went out and I met so many people at. I would go to like English speaking bars, and they would always have like people practicing English and stuff like that. So I would show up and I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm visiting
Hmm.
from New York. And next thing you know, they're like taking me around town
Yeah.
and to bars and locations that they know about that you
Hmm.
don't really read about, right?
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, you get the full experience, and then they tell you what they like, what they don't like, the problems, the politics, the economics, the rationale on why things are the way they are, what they wish would
Hmm.
be different, what they like about it, everything, right? And it just becomes a completely different experience as opposed to, hey, I'm in Tokyo, take me to your, famous
Hmm.
building here and famous sushi market. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like everybody can do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Like
I do appreciate your wanting to be, all right, show me what a real weekend is in New York
hmm
for a New Yorker, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I feel like I don't know. It
Which
just.
is why I took you straight to Times Square
Hmm.
because everybody loves Times Square here.
It was an eye opener. I mean, it seemed a lot bigger than I thought it was. Um, and the fact that I realized they have the ball up there, I guess, like year round, was kind of funny.
Yeah, they leave it there until like November, December, and then they take it down, change the colors or whatever,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
right back up it goes.
yeah, but yeah, the experience as a whole was just like it was eye opening. It made me appreciate, you know, the fact that I was there, and I appreciated that you were, lodging me and everything that like that, and just taking me around and showing me the ins and outs and everything like that. I really appreciated that, and like I said, it makes me want to go there because like the diversity there itself. If anyone's listening, if anyone's from like a small town or even like North Carolina is really not a small town in any way, shape, or form, but like comparing like North Carolina and New York is like night and day.
And just for
It's
the record, we went to Times Square just to show you Times Square because,
yeah, understandable, but
off the
like
bucket list or whatever. So you
yeah,
never have to do it. No, but what, like, okay, besides the diversity, um, why do you say that it's like night and day? Because, I mean,
because okay, so like I've been in cities before. I when I was in I was in Greensboro in that fucking in a college town, when I went to A&T. So there were a bunch of bars and everything like that around. Everything was in walking distance. Same thing in Charlotte. Everything was relatively close by. In living in another college town, but like I feel like the everything everyone. So like okay, and going to A&T pretty much and UNCG, which was like down the street from A&T. There's a bunch of colleges near each other in Greensboro. But like I felt like when I was at A&T, all I saw was black people. Obviously, I mean A&T is a black college. Makes sense, obviously. I literally have to go down the street to go to UNCG to see some sort of diversity, and that diversity is usually a bunch of Caucasians, white people. So it's like you go living in Charlotte, it's like as Ben would say, everyone was just as like a carbon copy of him, which I completely agree. It's like when in New York, it's like you see everything. You see so many different ethnicities. You know, you can like literally like walk one block and then walk the next block and you're in a completely different place. That's how I looked at it. That's what I mean by the diversity, like the different ethnicities that you just come across, just like randomly walking, and the fact that everything to me like is relatively close in walking distance. Like I understand why people have cars, but at the same time, I don't see a need for a car in like a city like New York.
yeah, having a car is more of a luxury thing
Yeah.
where you can be like, oh, let's get out of the city. And you just
Mm-hmm.
hop on and go wherever the fuck you want to go. But on a day to day basis, yeah, I mean, you don't really need a car unless you have, like, I don't know.
And another thing is like I feel like more, I can find more things to do when it comes to like group meetups than I can in Durham, North Carolina. Like it was funny. I did like a looking at you had the what was it that Saturday with the kickball event. Was it Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday we did
Yeah,
kickball.
Sunday. Like I literally looked up on Meetup in Durham, and there's like barely any groups. There's like a handful of groups, and they're like small groups.
Right.
So it's like I can only imagine if like I was looking for like other groups or whatever activities, I'd be able to find multiple groups in New York than in Durham.
Yeah. I mean, that's the tough part about, Durham, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, even Charlotte. I mean, yeah, they're not like hick towns, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you were saying, that it's a bunch of either white people or black people, and every now and then you'll find like a small community of something else, right?
Yeah.
But they stay within themselves.
Yeah.
Uh, like go to South End in Charlotte, and I mean it's 90% white people,
Mm-hmm.
all working at a financial institution, making decent money, so they
Yeah.
all feel like cocky as shit. Which is good for them. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. But it does get old and tiresome when you're not in that class
Mm-hmm.
or that demographic, I guess, maybe. See, that's the thing about New York, though, right? Like, you do go to neighborhoods where it's like very, very either white or Jewish or black or Hispanic or Asian or whatever. But the beauty of it is everybody has to get somewhere,
Yeah.
and everybody wants to go somewhere, so that everybody just kind of intermingles
Mm-hmm.
everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate the diversity here. You don't feel like such an oddball, no matter who you
Exactly.
are. No matter who you are, you don't feel like the oddball.
Yeah, and I feel like I would be such like a like I feel like I'm like an outsider here. Like I feel like I would fit in more. I'd be more inclined like to find groups, which I've already mentioned before with you before. Like I'll be able to find people that have like similar tastes easier than I would here. Like for me to find somebody with similar tastes, in like with anime or manga or whatever or movies, it would be almost like a stretch. It would be difficult. Oh, yeah, it wouldn't be difficult, but I feel like it would be so much easier in New York.
Yeah, I mean, you and Stephanie were talking anime stuff, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking about, but
It
keep
was the
at it.
same thing with David.
Oh yeah, and David also loves that shit. I'm just,
Yeah.
go for it. Like,
So yeah, and I it was a completely random. There's a random conversation, and it just came up. Like I feel like I would have to almost, I don't know, force a conversation like that. Even at my workplace, there's some that we were a bunch of nerds or whatever. Obviously, we work in IT.
nerds.
But but it seems like at times it's if I'm like having a conversation because some of them they say they watch anime, but like even if or they read mangas, if I say try to have a conversation about it with them, it's like I'm forcing a conversation with them. Or even if it's just like about a movie or a TV show, like even with Loki that's out, I feel like I will be forcing a conversation with them. Whereas I feel it would be more natural in New York, just like some random stranger.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, and this is what I felt when I first moved up here is, like down south, I would say, hey, I've been to Spain or Japan or Peru or whatever it may be, and they'd be like, whoa, you've traveled all over, and I'm like, well, yeah, I have traveled a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But then I moved to New York, and I swear to God, like I would have the same conversation with people, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's it? You haven't gone anywhere else?" I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean that's it?" And then the average person here just travels everywhere, has like 30 different hobbies, they do 20 different things, and I mean, again, not everybody's like that, but on the average human being that I've interacted with, they make me feel like uncultured and dumb. So then I'm like, all right, this is cool, right? Like, I don't know, I enjoy that.
I feel that's cool though, because at the same time it kind of like if they unless if they come across of like snobby or whatever, it's like, oh well, you've only been there, well I've been such and such and such and such,
Nah,
then
yeah,
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 I
yeah.
would ignore them. But if it's like somebody that's like, oh really, you haven't been there, well I've been here, I think you might like it, and just give pointers of like maybe put some ideas in your mind of that maybe like a new destination that you might want to put on your bucket list or whatever.
Right, right. No, yeah. Somebody yesterday was telling me that they had Egyptian food,
Oh wow.
and I'm just like, huh. I've never had Egyptian food.
Yeah.
But that's the crazy thing about New York, right? Like,
Yeah.
think of a food. So I used to
Hmm.
joke around back down south, and I'd be like, yeah, people would be like, what do you want to eat? And I'd be like, I don't know, like Nigerian food or something,
Yeah.
like something like way off, right? And just
Hmm.
as a joke, because you're not going to find it. But here, if I say that, they'd be like, oh, do you know of a Nigerian place you want to go to? And I'm like, oh, I didn't really mean that, but sure, we can
Yeah.
Google it,
Yeah.
Unlimited options, Sean.
Exactly.
What else?
Uh,
What else did you like or did you not like about New York?
uh the humidity.
Yo, that was exceptionally humid weekend.
I felt like I felt like every time we came back, I wanted to take a shower. Like
Yeah.
every single time we came back to the room, I was like, I need to take a shower. I feel disgusting.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was just bad luck. I think that was probably the worst humidity we've had since I've lived here.
I think like that was probably the only thing I can like honestly think of that I didn't like. Um, because like I said, I I was quote unquote training myself for that weekend. Um, without accounting for the alcohol, obviously. But like I
What do
I
you mean
took
you trained? What is there to train for? You
okay.
just come to
So
New York.
you know what I had to train for. The joke with me is like I will pass out anywhere. There's the image on Facebook of me passed out in a Waffle House or an IHOP,
It was an IHOP.
like 2 in the morning or whatever.
You
Just
sleep all the time, Sean.
yes. So I made sure that I was gonna be ready for that weekend and not pull a quote unquote traditional Sean and just pass out like randomly on the subway or something like that. So I would say I didn't do like even that the last place was at Ben's wedding where I drank so much and I was fucking passed out in the chair, just obliterated. Not sure how the hell I made it back to Carlos's room. Um, but yeah, but
Wait,
I,
Ben got married. Where was my invite?
shut up.
No, but yeah, I mean, you did good. You didn't fall asleep anywhere. Although I do have a picture of you asleep in my apartment, and it was like barely midnight,
Well, that was probably because I already knew my limits, and I was like, yeah,
tapping out.
yeah. But
Nah, you did really good. I honestly did expect you to fall asleep at some point, but you never did.
yeah, I don't think there was anything other than that. I guess like the close second, which really wouldn't be like something I would hate. It was obviously just something that my body wasn't used to with the amount of walking that we did. Um, because like my legs, I think Ben was like saying his legs were fucking killing him as well.
Well,
But
that's because
like,
you two are old.
we're not used to like the amount of like walking that we're used to just like driving everywhere, commuting somewhere.
Yeah.
So experiencing, like the true New Yorker and it's like walking everywhere, taking the subway or taking, the bikes or whatever around town. Um, that just kind of like put a toll on my legs. But I literally just like fought through it because I was like, fuck this. You're gonna have to cut my legs off at this point. I'm gonna fucking go all over New York as much as I possibly can. I'm not gonna let my fucking legs, deter me from enjoying my time there. So I wouldn't say you can. I guess you can say that's something I hated, but it's not really
It's something you
something.
just need to get acclimated to.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and I mean everything else. I loved. I loved the main thing was the concert. The concert
Oh
was what put
yeah,
it over the top.
that was
Hit,
wild.
yeah. Um, the another thing was K Town. K Town was dope. I really enjoyed it there. Um, But yeah, the concert was that was the best way to close out the weekend. Um, Everything about it, and the whole Molly thing, that was something I've never experienced before. I, and I just went, just full throttle on it. I honestly don't think it hit me as hard as you guys think it did.
Sean, you were jumping up and down, yelling at me,
I
telling me to loosen up. I think it hit you pretty damn hard.
I wasn't okay. It was not even. You're over exaggerating.
I don't think I am.
You're over exaggerating. It wasn't even that serious. It was just the fact that we were there. It was starting to get hype. Let's enjoy it because it was getting lively.
It was getting lively.
And
You're so old.
everyone, shut up. Everyone was getting in the mood, and I look to the left of me. I see you and Ben just standing there. I'm just like, what's going on?
I was jamming out.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Nah, well, I took enough Molly for like 3 people, and then
Jesus.
it didn't kick in until once we got back at my apartment, and everyone's kind of like coming down, and that's when it started kicking in for me, and I'm like, fuck. Like, fuck, this is exactly what does not need to happen. But, yeah, I mean, everybody else had an awesome time.
Yeah, that was a crazy night. Even whatchamacallit, the girl that David brought, her glasses or whatever.
Oh,
So,
yeah, Moon's glasses were
yeah,
dope as shit.
that I think put me over the top. That made it really trippy.
Oh, man, that was amazing. I need to get a pair of those. Shit.
Yeah, that was something else. I feel like any concert you go to, you need to have a pair of those glasses. I'm beyond something.
And be on something.
Beyond something. Because yeah, those just like amplified that night. Um, but let's talk about the possible and you and the possible Mrs. Vargas that you
Well,
want to
I don't
deny.
think we're going to talk about that at all, actually. But what we will talk about that was a Sunday night.
Yeah.
That was a Sunday night, and apparently they ended the concert early because it was a Sunday night. I think it ended up
really?
1. I think the night before they stayed open till like 4.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing time. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, another thing that added to it was when it started raining.
Oh, that felt so good.
That hit the spot as well.
Yeah, I'll admit I've never really listened to Deadmau5, but I don't care. If you got some good fucking music and an awesome venue,
Yeah.
and you're surrounded by cool people, it's just gonna be a good time no matter what.
Exactly.
They could have been playing fucking classical music up there. We would have been jamming out.
I think it was because out of the 3 acts, I didn't know the first guy who I think either you or somebody said that he was like 17 or something.
Oh yeah, that motherfucker was 17 years old performing in there. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
And he killed it too. In my mind. He did really well.
Like, what did I do in life where I just made such a wrong turn to be my age, sitting behind a desk typing numbers?
I don't know, man.
I should have been 17 years old, being a DJ, playing in fucking Brooklyn.
Exactly.
Jesus.
And then was it New the second guy? I've heard of him before. I think I've seen some of his videos on YouTube. But I'm not familiar with him too much. And the only reason why I'm like familiar with Deadmau5 is because I've heard and seen he's more mainstream.
Right.
Like he's like, to me, he's like mainstream like Skrillex.
Yeah, I've never been too into electronic music or anything like that. But like I said, if it's a good time, man, I'll be there.
Yeah. I
will be there. I actually went to a classical music concert like a week or 2 ago at the Lincoln Center.
Okay.
I'm telling you, man, this is the beauty of New York. There's something going on all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to find it and put the energy to actually do stuff, you're never
Hmm.
gonna get bored.
Yeah.
Ever.
I
Ever, ever,
don't
ever.
see how you could be.
Well, I
It-
mean, I'll be honest. I've met a lot of people who are kind of like couch potatoes
mhm.
or neighborhood potatoes, as I call them,
Okay.
because they don't want to leave their fucking neighborhood. So if they
Really.
live in like East Village, they don't really want to leave East Village unless they have to.
Hmm.
And so then I remember I met someone not too long ago, and I was like, hey, we could go do archery, and they were like, well, let me know
Yeah, I
if it's
remember
not
you
too.
telling me that.
Let me know if it's not too far from my apartment. I might be down. I'm like, wait, what? Like, why does it have to be close to your apartment? Like,
Exactly.
I don't know.
Uh,
But if you have the energy for it and you're down to do whatever, you're gonna have a
yeah.
fucking blast, man.
Yeah. I don't understand that. It's like you live in such like an amazing city. It's like you can go pretty much any corner of it and find something to do. With the multiple like different parks, there's always something happening. Whether it be like, some sort of art exhibit somewhere, like, a bunch of musicians and concerts spread out to like, at different locations. There there's just so much to do. I don't see how, like, I feel like I would be so much more active in a city like that than here, because like I said, the main thing that I loved is that everything was in walking distance. Like, for me, if I would literally have to like drive around town to find something, or even like if something, or if a big event is coming up, then obviously you can plan for it here. And it just, I don't know. It, to me, it's more discouraging to find something here than it would be there. It's so much easier, in my opinion. I feel like there's always something going on.
Yeah, I mean that's how you end up like me, tired all the fucking time. But it's totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Yeah, I
That and,
know.
the lack of saving money.
Oh God, nowadays it's like that's that's everyone's thing is, to save the money for your retirement and everything like that. But that's far off, obviously. But that's another discussion, I guess. But going back to that Sunday, the Sunday night, Ben didn't sleep at all. He couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep either. I didn't fall asleep until after the sun was starting to come up. I think around like 5, 6 a.m. I was like, that's when I started falling asleep. And I think you were up just like roaming around.
Well, yeah, because my fucking shit kicked in at the last fucking minute, and I did lay down next to Ben at like 7 in the morning.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I will learn from this mistake because all week long, I mean, I dragged ass.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to take that much. But
Mhm.
lesson learned. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll see the next time. I'll boost it up a little bit to see what.
I don't think you want to do that. Actually, it's actually pretty bad for you if you do it too much.
Oh, really?
Like I was joking around with someone earlier this week about how there's like barely any serotonin.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the word, serotonin?
Yeah.
Like I'm hanging on by like one little serotonin in my brain,
Mm.
keeping me alive.
Jesus.
Because yeah, I mean, from what I understand, the Molly just kind of like amps up everything. So then when you come
Mm-hmm.
back down, it's harder for you to get excited again. Like you,
Gotcha.
you, you, you mellow out so much that you could win the lottery. Like if you were to like abuse drugs,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's what could happen, right? Where your body just doesn't know how to react anymore
Yeah.
without stuff. And
That makes
so,
sense.
no, I mean that was just a poor experiment on my end to take that much. Um, but it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to go hard, right?
Yeah.
And just say F it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Like
That's what
like
I'm
in
wanting to
like in
do.
Reno,
Really?
4,000 gummies later, just I can't have a serious
I
conversation to
can't
save my
believe
life.
I can't believe that was something else. I don't. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was something else. I was like, when we left you in the SUV to the going to the casino, I was like, man, I was I was like borderline, please. But nothing happened. Nothing happened, please. Nothing happened, please.
I mean, all I
'Cause-
did was sleep and then wake up and dry heave because I don't know why I was doing that, but it was a good time.
yeah. I feel
Sometimes
like
sometimes you just gotta go hard.
yeah, and I think eventually there will be a point where I'll do that because that's what I wanted to do. Just to be like, okay, I've experienced it, I've done it, whatever. But there's always next time. There'll be more trips. There'll be more concerts. There'll be more events and everything. Like I could only imagine, especially you have Lollapalooza coming up, the music festival, and that's going to be crazy with the amount of acts that are going on and everything like that. Just being able to try to make it to every single one, which that's see, I've never been to something like that. So is it where you go to? Are the music? Is it like one singular stage where the musicians come on and sing, or perform or whatever, or is it like multiple stages?
So this is gonna be like the biggest one that I've ever gone to because I did go to Governor's Ball for like one day. But yeah, I mean, there's different stages and you can kind of like choose who you want to listen
Mm-hmm.
to.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the lineup the other day, and I'm actually a little upset because they got like some good artists going on at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
which is not cool. Um, but I guess we'll see who we listen to. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, dude, I honestly, here's the thing, right? If you don't abuse uh shit, then your body will tell you like, hey, chill out,
Yeah.
right? Like because your body knows for the most
Yeah.
part. So like I am not looking forward to anything other than just kind of like mellow out at Lola.
Just
I don't want
just
to
prep
go
yourself.
I don't want to
Just,
go too hard anymore.
well, yeah. I mean, prep yourself and just take it easy with the everything that's gonna be going on at that concert. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 4 days in a row, right? Back to back to back to back.
Jesus. Yeah.
So
That's.
I think Thursday and Saturday are the days that I really want to focus on the music,
Mm-hmm.
and then Friday and Sunday. I mean, I don't care. I'm just there for I'm just there to be with people that I love and have a good
Yeah.
time.
Have you figured out the dilemma yet? Who you're taking? Or are you still contemplating?
TBD.
Okay.
Life is TBD as always.
Okay. Well, yeah. As before, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Life's a disaster sometimes.
I think you'll make the right choice in who you choose.
When are you gonna come back to New York? Is the big question.
Later, hopefully in the fall. That's my. Which it seems like it's coming up so quick. It's like only a few months away. So hopefully,
Did you finish updating your resume?
yeah, that's already been updated.
What did Ben say about it?
He hasn't said anything.
Well, that's
He hasn't
because
said anything.
he's a bitch. Text him and say, "Hey, I need feedback."
I emailed him because I condensed it, made it a little bit smaller. Not smaller, but like I felt like when you had sent me the first, you talking about the Google templates, like those were probably they're very similar to like the same template that I use because I had mine done through Fiverr. Um, I think what years ago. That's the same template that I've been using. And everyone, whenever I showed them it, they were like, "Holy crap! Who did this? This is
Holy
amazing."
crap!
That was like,
You are literally the resume guru.
yeah, they were making it like seem like my resume it was like the bee's knees or whatever.
The
But yeah,
bee's knees.
I just condensed it and just like focused on like the important parts and cleaned it up a little bit and then resubmitted it and I emailed Ben to look it over and yeah, he hasn't responded yet.
Well, make sure you make him respond.
Okay. Well, yeah, I put out a couple feelers to see and everything. No response yet. I got one back saying that, hey, this may be a scam. Try to, not reply back to this one. I was like, all right.
The fuck.
Yeah.
All right. So before I let you go, I gotta ask you one question.
Okay.
So the last couple of guests that I've had we've talked a lot about identity
Mm-hmm.
and how some people put huge importance into it and some people like not as much.
Okay.
And so I always remember we would have this conversation or start this conversation. You always would say that you're not black, you're Jamaican.
Yeah.
What makes what would always make you respond like that?
So that whole thing was just like it was more or less just like a meme, or kind of turned into a meme.
A meme?
Um, and I just embraced it as that. It was more or less just like when when because I never really identified myself as really anything besides just a human being, if that makes any sense.
Right, right, right.
Um, I never like I never want to be like, put into a category. That's like one of the things I kind of hate. I feel like everyone is just everyone. Like the whole saying is like when everyone dies, everyone is just skeletons. It doesn't matter what ethnicity or how you identify as. You could be straight, gay, trans, whatever, white, black, Asian, whatever. When it comes down to it, we're all human beings. So I never really was a big on the identity part. And whenever I made the whole joke like, oh, I'm not black, I'm Jamaican or whatever, it was just kind of just like turned into a meme. It's and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing really more to it.
But if you think everyone's a human being, how are you going to tell someone that you're better than them?
That's the thing. I don't. I don't. I guess I'm more modest in saying that, you are better than me. I never try to make myself come off as being like, oh, I'm better than you, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I remember I don't know where the fuck I read or heard this, but apparently white people invented the term or tried to distinguish terms like Latino and Hispanic
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure that, people of that region or whatever separate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So then some people would be like, oh, no, I'm not Hispanic, I'm Latino. Or no, I'm not Latino, I'm Hispanic.
It's like that stupid thing where it's like I saw on Instagram the other day. It was like, what was it? It was a black guy. He had in like captions saying, "I'm not black. I'm Dominican." I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard this, but I recently finished the autobiography of Malcolm X. And no, I mean Malcolm X talks about this in great depth of the reason that a lot of people in the Caribbean and in Central America, South America, North America, the reason there's like black people is because they all came from fucking Africa, right? Like Jamaica wasn't just there with black people. No,
Yeah.
fucking slaves got brought over, and then it was like a trading hub for like human trafficking, essentially, right? Yeah, and I mean his whole point was like, yo, if everybody just like unites,
Yeah.
you've got such an advantage.
Yeah.
But the white man, again, this according to fucking Malcolm X, which I completely agree with, actually. The white man just likes to divide and conquer. Divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer.
It's so funny that you say that because the same thing in any, I wouldn't say in any culture, but it's something that I've noticed also in a corporate environment. When you look at the higher ups, whatever, what do they always do? They always try to pit employees against each other constantly. They try to make even when it comes to like who they not hire, but who they give promotions to or whatever. If you really look at it,
yeah, I mean that's a whole different animal, right? Because then all of a sudden they're like, well, if we make them compete for this, then we'll get the most output.
Yeah.
And then we only have to reward one person because they're the one who did the best. I don't know. There's advantages and huge disadvantages there, but
another thing, kind of like a tangent because I just remembered it as you're bringing the topic up.
Yep.
The your stand up was another good night.
Oh yeah, dude. When you guys, I think it was like 30 minutes before I went up, I noticed that you guys were sitting right in the very front.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, how can I like embarrass them? And obviously, me being brand new, only having 5 minutes to actually go up there,
Mhm.
the only thing I could think of was to make everyone clap for you guys
Yeah.
and then call you guys idiots.
I mean, even like before that, I mean, everybody else pretty much embarrassed us as much as possible, especially the guy from that was it from Mad TV or whatnot? That guy,
Oh yeah. He's
he was
like
really good.
the, I should know his name, but I'm drawing a blank. But he basically lives at Broadway Comedy Club, and he's like one of the best, if not the
Hmm.
best guy. I think probably the best talent that place has, and he fucking kills it every single time.
It was Ben was like what did Ben say? I can't remember exactly. I'm like paraphrasing
Wait a
here.
minute, are you saying that somebody was better than me? How
No.
dare you, Sean?
Well, he was a
Dare
little bit
you?
better, but no. The thing that is like we were in the front, and I'm just like, this is such a bad spot for us because I'm just like, obviously in any you can see it in any comedy show, whatever. The comedian's always gonna be like making jokes with the person in front or close to the front. I was
Yep.
like we are in like the crosshairs right now. So I remember sitting there and like listening to all the every comedian tell their jokes or whatever. I was like, I see a trend that's happening a lot that we're making eye contact way too much.
Yeah.
Each comedian that's going up and telling their jokes, I'm like, they're looking at me. I was like, fuck.
I can't look away.
Exactly. So it's like, oh my goodness. So and I think they were it kind of helped them out because they're using, I guess, my energy, like the eye contact, whatever, and like the way I'm reacting to base their jokes off of, to like as like a gauge in a sense.
Right.
So that was just something I know is like a lot of I'd say I don't remember how many there were, but I would say probably like 90% of them made eye contact with me. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I did not. I kind of felt bad. The woman and the man, the couple, they had it worse though. They got picked on a lot.
Yeah, they love picking on couples all the time.
But yeah, that was a good night as well. I really enjoyed that because I think that was just the witness like your craft and everything to see because I couldn't do that. I would be sweating bullets trying to do something like that on stage telling jokes. I was like, yeah, I could never do that.
Well,
So I
what you
commend you for
guys cannot see is that I'm wearing a diaper at all times
it.
because I am shitting myself when I'm on stage.
Oh man, but yeah,
Nah,
all
but
in all, it was good.
dude, I'm really glad that you came up. I'm really glad that you had a good time, and I'm glad that you got to experience something that kind of opened you up a little bit and
Yeah,
kind of gave you some new energy and some new goals here.
yeah. It literally, as you said, it kind of awoken something in me. So it's like I'm more eager to experience it again.
Well, you're welcome back up anytime. And next time I will have better sleeping arrangement. Because
It was
maybe next time I'll know if Ben is coming or not. That stupid slut.
No, it was all good. It was straight. I had no issues.
Well, Sean, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I appreciate you coming up. And I will talk to you soon, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Looking forward to it.